let's move to the next one, where eighth one, where we want to look at the compute the descriptive statistics for internet usage, attitude towards internet and attitude toward technology. So descriptive statistics, we want to look at mean, median, mode, standard deviation and range, skewness, kurtosis and so on. So because we have now corrected everything, cleaned the data, now we are looking at descriptives. With the outlier, the data cleaning ends, then we look at the descriptors, descriptive statistics. So descriptive statistics, analyze descriptive statistics for what all we need to look at: internet usage, attitude towards internet, attitude towards technology. Options: mean is there, standard deviation, minimum, maximum, variance, range, kurtosis, skewness. Okay, click OK, you will get it.
So can you explain like what does this graph actually interpret from this graph?
So this graph, male and female, what is the median internet usage in hours per week? What is their quartile 1, what is their quartile 3? What is the quartile 3 for males, what is the quartile 3 for females? So you can compare the distribution. What is the, so here you can also see the maximum value for females. There is no whisker all itself. So you can just compare that the values are spread on the more positive side, are the higher for male versus female. You can compare their internet usage graphically using this.
No, sir, while you were explaining that thing, there was one 1.5. Where did you get that clarity?
1.5.
That when you were explaining, you were explaining that, you were adding that. You can remember the
Okay, 1.5 times interquartile range. Yeah, this is the length of the whisker. 1.5 times IQR. This is the length of this whisker. Any number which is beyond this, in positive side it is not possible because maximum marks are 100, and if I add 1.5 times IQR is 30, which becomes 45. So 80 plus 45, 125. 125 not possible because the question is, the answer question paper is out of 100. The exam marks are from 100, but in negative side it is possible. Yeah, 1.5 times IQR on the positive side and negative side. On the negative side, yeah, we go again 1.5 times IQR here. So 50 minus, here it was 50 minus 1.5 times IQR was 5. This you will have to do for your project, everything. It is very easy. I think you would have already done many of these things, right? In Excel you would have done. Now the next one, ninth one, is, now we have cleaned the data, we know the descriptives, mean, median, mode, range, mode for categorical variable, mean for interval and ratio variable. Mean for interval variable, if correctly it should not make sense, but it is used. So because there is no absolute zero, so when you take the mean, but it is used in the analysis. But arithmetic mean we can use for intervals. Arithmetic mean we can use for interval scale. So moving further, ninth one, do a cross tabulation between gender and internet usage. Now we are going to look at once, so this is the problem for internet service provider. He wants to know what determines internet usage and what determines the internet usage, which variable explain it. So our work does not end here. We want to look at which variables explain internet usage in hours per week. Which variable have the relationship? If male uses more, I should target male population. I should spend money on them so that they use it more. I go give offer to them, change my offering based upon how they use it, right? So I want to look at the relationships now between the dependent and independent variables. So the simple way is by bivariate. This is bivariate analysis we are doing. The simplest technique is cross tabulation. What do we do in cross tabulation? Let's say in COVID times, we want to look at in COVID times, we want to see whether there is some pattern between, or whether there is some association. Graphically we want to see whether there is some association between gender, either male or female, and the stress they felt during COVID times. So let's say I have about these are two variables. Male, first respondent is male, stress is high. Second is female, stress is low. Third is male, stress is low. Fourth is female, stress is high. Fifth is male, stress is high. Sixth is male, stress is high. Seventh is male, stress is high. Eighth is female, stress is low. Ninth is female, stress is low. Let's say it goes till 30. I want to just draw a cross tab, which means I want to cross these two variables, categorical variables, to see whether there is graphically, can I see there is some association, whether male or female, who is feeling more stressed, who was more stressed during COVID times. So what I do here, gender variable, male, female, cross frequency table, it is cross tabulation, and stress high, low. I did for 30 respondents. So 25 males had high stress and 5 low. 5 females had high stress and 25. This is simple cross tabulation. Using this, one can see whether there is an association graphically, not statistically, but graphically, whether there is an association between two variables. Or whether there is a frequency distribution of, or not, difference in frequencies with respect to a particular variable for two genders. So cross tabulation, this is easy, you can see gender. So generally what is the independent variable here? Everybody? Obviously, because gender, stress may be or may not be determined by gender, but gender does not get determined by stress, right? So we write independent variable along the columns and dependent along the rows. So this is the cross tabulation. Now we need to do the cross tabulation for gender and internet usage. Can we do that? Can we do that? Can we do the cross tabulation now? Internet usage is what variable? Ratio. What I said, chi-square with categorical, two categorical variables. So, but our internet usage in hours per week is ratio.
But it is categorical.
Sorry? Internet usage in hours per week is not categorical. Categorical are generally nominal variables in which have either two categories, three categories. You can. So internet usage in hours per week is a continuous variable. It's a ratio variable. So how can we use cross tab? Can we convert? So as I told you, we can convert a ratio variable into categorical, but a categorical into ratio we cannot convert. So what to do? How to convert IUPW to a categorical variable so that we can use the cross tabulation? One way is we can divide, we can ask the internet service provider, what do you consider as the midpoint between high and low IUPW, internet usage. Other way is you look at the mean for internet usage hours per week. Mean is 6.6 here. Other way is you divide on the mean, less than mean, low internet usage. Higher than mean, high internet usage. Let's say internet service provider, as it is given in your book also, internet service provider says 5 is the value I want to take cutoff between high and low. Ideally, one should proceed for mean or median. But let's say in this case, let's go with 5, because you can see the same results in your textbooks as well. So if we take 5 as the cutoff between high and low, we need to create one more variable, IUPW categorical. How to do that? Go to transform, recode into different variables, click on this. We want to transform internet usage in hours per week to what new variable? Let's say IUPW underscore categorical, and let's give that is the name and the label. Let's keep it same for the saving time. Once you do that, click change. So go to transform, recode into different variables. Internet usage in hours per week, we want to convert it to categorical, move it to the operations box. What is the new variable we want to create? IUPW categorical underscore C, let's say, right, categorical. Same name and label, let's keep the same. Like some people have the same name and the same nickname also, name and label. They say somebody's name is Anu, it's so short, you cannot Anu. Whereas so other people would have big names and then you can keep there. So it's like name and label we are keeping same here. Click change, and now we have to click old and new values. We want to tell the SPSS that we want to create the new variable IUPW underscore categorical, and how to make it categorical? Click old and new values. Here range lowest through value, which means equal to or less than 5, equal to or less than 5. Let's give value 1, which means low internet usage. Add 5.001, range value through highest, which means greater than equal to this value. Lowest was less than equal to this value. So if we say value 2, click on add and click continue, click OK. You have new variable created, which is categorical. IUPW underscore categorical. Have you done? Okay, let me remove it. Go to transform, compute. Sorry, transform, recode into different variables. Internet usage in hours per week. I want to make it IUPW categorical, or let me keep the same name as same label for this name, categorical. I click on change, So which means I am going to transform IUPW to IUPW underscore categorical. But still now I did not tell SPSS how to convert the continuous variable into categorical. That I will do clicking on old and new values. In old and new values, click on this range lowest through value, which means some number less than equal to that number. So if internet service provider has told that let's choose 5 or less than 5, low internet usage, above 5 is high internet usage. How I should convert IUPW into that categorical variable? Range lowest through value is 5 or less than 5. How I will tell SPSS 5 or less than 5? And give its value of 1 and click add. Now what about values greater than 5? So I will say 5.001 and greater than it, equal to 5.001 or greater than it, give the value of 2. Click add, click continue and click OK, and you have the new variable and new categorical variable created. Did you get it? Now how to do the cross tab? We have to go to analyze, descriptives, and there is cross tabs. Click on the cross tabs. We are getting this particular table. The columns are the independent variables. So we want to do between gender and internet usage. So where gender will go? Rows or columns? Gender is a dependent variable, independent variable here. Dependent, independent. Internet usage will determine gender or gender will determine internet usage? Sorry? Here we are not looking at cause and effect, we are just looking at whether they are associated. We are not saying one is a determinant of other, one causes other, no. We are just saying there is an association. But if common sense it says that gender cannot be determined by. So let's keep it as if at all there is a causal, if at all there is some association, and there would be some cause and effect if at all, then gender should be on the column side. So let's keep gender on the column, IUPW categorical on the row side. Click on no statistic, no, don't click. Click on cells, and we want to calculate the percentage column wise in the direction of the independent variable, which means you will get to know how many percent of males have high and how many percent have low, like for females, in the direction of the independent variable. If you click OK, you are getting this. Are you getting this? Once more. I take extra payment for once more. Okay. Analyze, descriptive statistics, cross tabs. Let's reset. So gender, which could be the independent, which is the independent but may not be causal, but it makes sense to put gender as the independent variable in the column, IUPCW in the row side. Click on these cells and we will calculate the percentages across or in the direction of the independent variable, which is columns. Click continue, click OK, you will see this, which means 33.3%, 1/3 of the males have low internet usage and 2/3 have high, whereas this order is reversed for the females. Now let's go to the next one where we are doing a multiple cross tab. Now what is this animal? If you remember, we discussed an example in a particular class where we were looking at the cross tabulation between two variables. One was education and owning an expensive automobile. Do you remember? The percentages were showing that higher education, people with higher education, they own the expensive automobile. The cross tab was showing that. But then we thought, does education actually determine who will have the most expensive car? So we brought income as the control variable. And when we brought income for high income and low income, we drew the cross tab again to look at whether there is whether education determines whether people will own expensive automobile or income. So when we brought income, that relationship of education and owning an expensive automobile went away. So which means when we bring a third variable, when the original association goes away, that the original relationship goes away, that we call as spurious relationship. So in order to, if we have certain doubt whether that if we the association between gender and internet usage may not be because of, so gender may not be leading to, so gender may not lead to high or low internet usage. Maybe gender has some effect with something else, which there could be some other variable. Now in this case, that could be familiarity with the internet. So we will now do a familiar cross tab, bringing in familiarity with the internet as a control variable to see whether that relationship still, association like this still exists. So what we do now is cross tab between three variables using familiarity with the internet as a control variable. Now familiarity with the internet is what variable? Interval. It is not categorical. So we have to convert it to categorical. What is the midpoint? 7-point scale, 4 is the midpoint. Can we divide it 4 or less than 4, low familiarity, and higher than 4, high familiarity? Can we do that? Then do it please quickly. Familiarity with the internet underscore categorical click on change, old and new values, 4 or less than 4, value 1, and since there is no 4.1, 4.2, 4.3 because it is a discrete interval variable which has values 1 to 7. So we can say 5 or above value, oh sorry, first we did not complete that, 4 and below value 1, 5 and above value 2, and click add and click continue and click OK. You have a new variable created. Familiarity with the internet categorical. Now once you create these categorical variables, in the variable view you can actually update these values also. IUPW value 1, low IUPW, value 2, high IUPW. Same way we have to do it for familiarity also. Value 1, low familiarity with the internet, value 2, high familiarity with the internet. So we have now familiarity also as a categorical variable. So now we will do then multiple cross tab, 10th. So how to do that? Go to analyze, descriptives, explore. Don't go to explore. You tell me, I am just checking whether you are paying attention. Go to analyze, descriptives, cross tabs, reset. Familiarity is now control variable, layer, we will add that in. So gender, so IUPW row, gender column, and familiarity as the control variable or the third variable that we will introduce to see whether still the association between gender and IUPW holds. So again go to statistics, or not statistics, sorry, cells, and click on percentages row and click OK, and you will get this. And I'm not going to interpret because you interpret on your own, please. So for low familiarity, you will have some association. For high familiarity, you might be able to see some association. So the idea is this is a way to do multiple crosstab, to introduce a third variable to see whether the relationship between original two categorical variable is still as clear, still holds, that is not a spurious relationship.
Category familiarity with internet is a better predictor than gender.
That we will only get to know whether familiarity will better differentiate between high and low internet usage when you do a crosstab. Here we are seeing whether that relationship between gender and internet usage in hours per week, whether this is spurious or not. So what is the next one? Now crosstab will give us a graphical examination. Crosstab will give us a graphical way of looking at the association. For example, when we look at this data, this between gender and internet usage, so we were able to see that 1/3 of the males have low internet usage, whereas 2/3 have high, and it is the reverse for females. So what would you would be tempted to infer, saying that you would say that in the sample it looks like females have males have more internet usage in hours per week than females, right? If so, this is with the graphically you would be able to say male, they have a higher, they have the higher internet usage because the frequency says so, 66.7% as compared to 33.3%. Is there a statistical way to say that the difference is there? This is through looking at the crosstab, but there is also a statistical test that is called a chi-square test. So which means we have now come to, now this shows in the sample whether you will see there is an association. In the sample you are able to see whether, so you are able to see males, they have more higher internet usage in hours per week than females. But this is for the sample. We don't know for the population. So now we will move one step further to make inference about the population from the sample for definite findings, so that one could actually use them in their business problem. So now we have come to hypothesis testing, where we will begin with the chi-square.